And this is the first match of the second round of the women's tournament of glory. And we're starting off with Daenerys Targaryen taking on Ruby Rose. Freaking Daenerys and her damn pyro. I don't know if her nameplate pops up on the screen during the pyro or if it just is non-existent at this point. I don't know, but either way, Daenerys is hoping to get an opportunity at the women's championship. In order to do that, she has to get through the former New Gen Women's Champion Ruby Rose. And Ruby is hoping to get an opportunity to get the title back. So, it's on the line between these two. And Daenerys only made it into this part of the tournament because her original opponent, Zelda, is the current women's champion right now. So she got off lucky with that. She didn't have to compete in the last round. She's not going to have that benefit this time around. So have to wait and see how Daenerys is going to handle a former women's champion. And this much, I'm sure Daenerys isn't freaking overlooking Ruby. Daenerys has been doing this wrestling crap for too long. And here comes Ruby Rose, the former women's champion of New Gen, making her way to the ring. And I know Ruby's been excited for this match for quite some time, ever since she made it into this round after she beat Nessa, which still surprised me. And now Ruby has to try and upset another former women's champion. In this case, it's a former Mag Nation women's champion. And knowing Ruby, she's more than ready to freaking be up to the task for that. She's more than ready freaking for the challenge, that's for sure. She loves freaking having a challenge put in front of her, and she loves fighting, that's for sure. She's a fighting champion. And let's get this opening match underway of the second round. And Ruby immediately starting off with kicks, and Daenerys just kicking Ruby in midair. And Ruby with a hurricane round of the Daenerys. And now Ruby with an armbar on Daenerys. And Daenerys whipping in the corner. Clothesline knocks her down. And random fact, these two are both wearing capes. Hopefully there isn't a jet engine around here, because, you know, Incredibles reference. No capes. And Daenerys dealing Ruby with a freaking bulldog. And Daenerys just yanking Ruby's head back by her hair. I guess if it works. And Daenerys with a reverse DDT. And Daenerys tried to go for a drop kick, but Ruby blocked it. Kicked in midsection by Daenerys to Ruby. And Daenerys with just a slap to the face of Ruby. That's disrespectful. And Daenerys just slamming Ruby's face against the ring. And slams her face against the ring again. Now Daenerys picking up Ruby, and Ruby blocks the punch there into a go behind. And Ruby with a bulldog to Daenerys. There's a kick by Ruby to Daenerys there. Arm drag by Ruby to Daenerys. Kick in midsection of Daenerys, another kick by Ruby there. And Daenerys with a go behind on Ruby. Misses a clothesline. Heel kick by Ruby, knocking her in the corner. And Ruby, what the freaking hurricane ronic by Ruby with Daenerys there. And Daenerys getting nailed with a knee to the back by Ruby. And Ruby tried to go for a kick there, but it got blocked, and then she just shoved away. Springboard by Ruby, which she nailed. Forearm by Daenerys, knocking down Ruby there. And then Daenerys picking up Ruby. There's another punch and a kick to Ruby there by Daenerys. In a headlock. Elbow to the back of the head. In the headlock again by Daenerys. There's another slap to the face of Ruby by Daenerys there. That's disrespectful. And just slams her face against the ring again. Daenerys is just imposing her will over Ruby. And Ruby with a kick in midsection to Daenerys as her response. And Ruby with a DDT to Daenerys there. Oh god. And now Ruby going to the top turnbuckle. And Daenerys cuts her off. Oh god. And Daenerys was a punch face to Ruby there. And Daenerys with a freaking superplex to Ruby from the top turnbuckle. And Daenerys picking up Ruby. And there's a jab there by Daenerys into a headlock. Clothesline knocks her down. And another one. And Daenerys with a power slam to Ruby. Oh god. And Daenerys springboard, which she missed. And Ruby kept up at the right time to dodge that springboard attempt. And Ruby with another hurricane run of the Daenerys. And now Ruby picking up Daenerys there. Clothesline by Ruby. And another one knocking her down. Misses that clothesline, does Daenerys. And Ruby with a backbreaker to Daenerys there. And Daenerys blocking with Ruby, trying to go for there. And Hurricane Rana by Ruby and Daenerys again. And Ruby with another DDT to Daenerys. Now Ruby going to the top rope. Moonsault, which she missed. And Daenerys with a springboard, which she nailed that time. And Ruby just punches her off. Forearm by Daenerys to Ruby. And Ruby just punches her off again. And Daenerys reversing with Ruby trying to go for there into a DDT. And Daenerys with an armbar on Ruby. Now Daenerys dragging Ruby from the ropes. Now Daenerys going for the Targaryen crossface. Ruby's trying to desperately crawl to the ropes. Daenerys has this thing submission locked in on Ruby. And Ruby gets out of it. Daenerys just let her out of it, I don't know. And Daenerys knocking her down with that punch there. And Ruby shoves her off. Kicked in midsection by Ruby. And Ruby going for a submission of her own on Daenerys. And Daenerys just manages to fight off it. And now Daenerys is back up. Ruby was just looking at her. And just whoops her in the corner. Clothesline knocks her down. Going for covers Ruby. And Daenerys is right there by the ropes. Armbar by Ruby on Daenerys. Flips her over. Now Daenerys going for, is it another submission attempt by Ruby? And Daenerys manages to get out of it. And Ruby blocking a kick there from Daenerys and nails her with a dragon screw. And Daenerys shows her off again. Whatever the hell that was to Ruby there by Daenerys. And now just a pair of disrespectful kicks to Ruby's head there by Daenerys. Just more kicks by Daenerys. Like she's trying to piss off Ruby. And Daenerys was just a freaking ripcord just punch to the face into her freaking forearm. I don't know what the hell that was. And Daenerys with the cover. 1, 2, and Daenerys is moving on to the semifinals. Freaking Ruby tried her best and gave Daenerys everything that she could, but Daenerys showing exactly why she's a veteran of this industry, and that she is no slouch, that's for sure. And Daenerys is that much closer to getting a women's world title opportunity. It's freaking crazy. The next match is Urza Scarlet taking on Misty. That's gonna be an interesting match. It's gonna be a battle of the redheads. In the battle of the anime characters, that's going to be crazy. And this is the next match in the Tournament of Glory for the women's side in the second round. Urza is taking on Misty. And both these two women are freaking two former champions in their own right. Urza is a former New Gen champion, and Misty's a former main roster champion. As was main roster times before we put the two divisions into one single division. You get the idea. And now these two are going to be facing off for the first time ever. So this will be interesting to see which one of these two former champions will be facing Daenerys in the semifinals of this tournament. And which one will be going home? And at least to as they come into work again, taking for like an episode of Underground or some shit. But anyway, Urza has been wanting an opportunity to get back in the title hunt for the women's championship after she lost it to Dawn. And actually, she lost it to Juliet Sterling, sorry. Who then lost it to Dawn. And we all know how that whole thing turned about if we go back and watch everything that happened towards the end of last year. But the idea. It's just going to be interesting to see how these two match up against each other. And Urza is determined to get another shot at the Women's Championship. And I do not blame her after the bullshit that happened that caused her to lose it the last time. And here comes the other former champion in this match, Misty from Pokemon, and Dawn's tag team partner, who's hoping that she can get an opportunity to challenge her tag team partner again. The challenge whoever the champion is, because I forget. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, challenge Zelda, I forgot. Because Zelda was able to score the win over Dawn and everything. But I'm sure Misty wished she could have gotten a chance to challenge Dawn when she was champion. And let's get this match underway between these two. And Misty with an armbar on Urza, elbow to the face for Urza. And go behind by Misty to Urza. Suplex Urza by Misty. Now Misty with a headlock on Urza. What the frig was that? A kick midsection of Urza by Misty. Now Misty with an armbar on Urza. And Misty whipping Urza in the corner. Whiffing that kick there. Tried to go for a punch in the face there while she was in the corner, but Urza put her in the corner. Drop kick to Misty there by Urza. And another one by Urza there. She was sitting in the corner. Urza with an arm by Misty into a headlock. Uppercut by Urza to Misty. And Misty with a chin breaker to Urza. And Urza with a chin breaker to Misty. And then Urza with a go behind on Misty and freaking whoops her in the corner. Shot the lower back of Misty there by Urza. And Urza with a suplex to Misty, just dumping her on her head. A drop kick by Urza to Misty. And now Urza whipping Misty in the corner. Elbow drop by Urza to the back of Misty. And Urza whipping Misty in the corner. And Misty flips Urza over there. A knee to the back of Urza by Misty there. Springboard by Misty, which she nailed, surprisingly. And Urza just trips up Misty. Misty with a headlock on Urza. And just punches her down. And Misty whipping Urza in the corner. Punch the face of Urza by Misty. And Misty, this weird ass move into a Hurricane Rana in the corner. To Urza there. And Urza just trips her up again. And Urza whipping Misty in the ropes. Arm drag by Urza to Misty. And Misty just shows her off. Urza blocking the dropkick there. Urza tried to go for a punch up, but Misty blocked it, and Urza reversed whatever Misty tried to go for there, into a chin breaker by Misty. And Misty just putting the boots to freaking Urza there, nails her with a drop kick. Urza with an armbar and Misty into a headlock. Arm drag. And Urza with an elbow drop to Misty there. And then Urza whipping Misty into the ropes. Misty with a Hurricane Rana to the Urza, almost setting him up for a 619 there. And Misty dragging Urza away from the ropes. Global covers Misty. Only one count. Urza with a neck breaker to Misty. And Urza with an enziguri to Misty there. Now Urza going for cover. Only one count. And Urza just with a punch at Misty there. Now going for the freaking fairy tale driver. And she nails it. Urza dragging Misty away from the ropes into the middle of the ring for reasons. Go for cover. One. Only one count because Urza is taking a sweet ass time. Kick the midsection of Misty by Urza. Urza off the ropes. Drop kick to the face of Misty there. Now Urza going for cover again. 1, 2, and Misty kicks out again. Kick the midsection of Misty again by Urza. And Misty with a bubble beam stun to Urza out of nowhere. And then Misty dragging Urza away from the ropes. Going for cover is Misty. 1, only a 1 count, but sorry. And now Misty whipping Urza in the corner. Watch out, ref. Kick the midsection of Urza there. Now Misty. There's a weird corner move again and a hurricane behind the Urza there. Urza with a knee to the back by Misty there. And now Urza just punch knocking Misty down. And another one. And Misty whipping Urza on the ropes. Face buster by Urza. An armbar by Urza. And Misty reverses it into a go behind. And Urza with a headlock. And Zaguri by Urza. Now Urza dragging Misty away from the ropes. And Misty with a kip up. And now Urza going for another fairy tale driver, but Misty reverses it into an arm drag. And Misty springboard, which she nailed. Misty with a chop to Urza and a drop kick there, knocking her down. Leaping clothesline by Misty to Urza. And Misty with a freaking Selena del Sol there, whatever the hell it's called. Go for covers, Misty. 1, 2, and Misty gets the pin over Urza with that move, which she borrowed from Damian Wolf. And Misty, we're facing Darian Harris in the semifinals of the tournament. Looking crazy as hell. Probably one of the best women's matches that's ever happened so far between these two. And the next match is Starfire taking on Samus. And it's, like I said, huge win for Misty there, and it sucks for Urza because I know she was hoping to win the tournament, get the title opportunity. Urza will just have to try and earn herself an opportunity down the road at some point. There we go. We still got another freaking 2 matches in this freaking tournament. This second round of the tournament. And Misty, I wish you luck with facing Darian Harris. I really do. And this is the next match in the second round of the Women's Tournament of Glory, where Starfire is taking on Samus. And honestly, Samus and Starfire kind of surprised me in the fact that they've gotten this far. And neither one of these two it would be huge for them if they managed to get the title opportunity. If they managed to win the first ever Women's Tournament of Glory, that would be huge for both of them. But since Samus really hasn't done anything in quite some time, and Starfire's been hanging around it, not really doing anything either. And that would be huge for the Teen Titans too, especially since they want to try and make a name for themselves as a tag team, but they haven't really had a chance to. And like I said, Samus is the third member of the group between her, Zelda, and Princess Peach. And Zelda's already the champion, so that would be big for Samus if she was able to prove that she's making just as good as Zelda is as far as it goes in the group. Personally, I think Samus is probably the strongest member of the group. That's just my opinion. And it would be crazy if you think about it, if Samus and Zelda end up facing each other for the title. That would be freaking crazy, in all honesty. But in order for that to happen, Samus has to beat Starfire, and then she has to beat whoever wins between Zarina King and Cammy in the match after this, which will be the last match of this part of the tournament. And then it'll be on to the semifinals. This match is going to be interesting to see what happens between these two, because both these two are determined to win, because they really want that title opportunity. It'll be the biggest match of their career. Let's get this match underway between these two. And Starfire immediately kicked the midsection, and Samus just with punches and a chop to the chest, and a go behind by Samus. into a Russian leg sweep by Samus to Starfire. And Starfire whipping Samus to the outside. And Starfire with a suplex to Samus, bringing her back in the ring. And Starfire with a headlock at Samus, whipping her into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Kinda. Now Starfire with a bulldog to Samus there. And now Starfire just repeated kicks and blocks that punch there. And a headlock by Starfire. And just a knee to the face of Samus there. And now a headlock by Starfire again. And now Samus is back on the offensive with that elbow knocking Starfire down. And now Samus with a headlock on Starfire. Arm drag. I was going to make a comment that Samus was on the defensive for a while there, but now she's back on the offensive. Power slam by faking a body slam by Samus there, Starfire. And now Samus with a headlock on Starfire. Into a neck breaker to Starfire there. Misses the knee drop. Good job, Samus. And now Samus just a punch to the face of Starfire there in a headlock, and an elbow to the face of Starfire, and drop kick attempt gets blocked by Starfire there, and just whiffs the slap to Starfire there, and headlock again by Samus. Another arm drag. And the Starfire would kick the midsection, headlock on Samus into an armbar, into a go behind. And Samus with another arm drag to Starfire. And now Starfire whipping Samus into the corner, clothesline knocking her down. And now Starfire whipping Samus into the corner. And now Starfire with a DDT to Samus. It's another kick to the shin of Samus did by Starfire. And Samus with a neck breaker to freaking Starfire. And now Samus with more punches to the head of Starfire. Which, if you know Starfire's origins, it probably will just piss her off even more. And Starfire will just drop kick to Samus there. Because Starfire comes from Tamarin and she's freaking really tough. I'll just say that. Now Starfire going to recover. Not even a 1 count. And a headlock by Starfire into a face buster. Elbow to the back of head of Samus by Starfire. Now Starfire with a running bulldog to Samus. And now Samus just punches Starfire off. There. And now Samus with an armbar on Starfire. STO by Samus to Starfire. And now Samus dragging Starfire from the ropes. Going for a cover Samus. Not even a 1 count. And now kick midsection by Samus. And a flatliner by Samus. The freaking Starfire into a cover. 1, 2, and Starfire kicks out. And now Samus with the freaking Metroid DDT to Starfire. Now Samus dragging Starfire away from the ropes. Going for a cover Samus. 1, 2, and Samus gets the win with the Metroid DDT over Starfire. And Samus Aran is going on in the semifinals, where she will challenge either Cammy or Zuna to decide who goes into the finals of this tournament. All it took was one DDT, and Samus puts away Starfire. It's crazy. Samus is determined to get herself a title opportunity, even if it's against her own friend. Well, Nintendo gal, but you get the idea. It's freaking crazy. And like I said, next match and the final match of this part of the women's side of the Tournament of Glory is Cammy taking on Zuna. And both those girls are freaking, I know because they told me before the show, they want to win this match and they want to win this whole tournament. Especially Zuna because she wants to get the title back after she got screwed out of getting an opportunity because of all that crap with Tifa, but you know how that turned out. You know what? And Cammy, she just wants to prove that she's more than just being Sonya's friend and on and off tag partner. Even though they've never really been an official team, they've just been teaming together because they're friends, but you get the idea. Either way. Big win for Samus. And this is the final round 2 match of the Women's Tournament of Glory where Cammy is taking on Zuna. And Cammy, this is going to be an uphill battle for her because she's taking on a former women's champion in both this company and in the AWF. 3-time women's champion in the AWF, by the way. and the former or current internet champion, I can't freaking remember. And Zarina's also been a AOT2 women's champion in the intermission time when freaking thing when we're working on things on this company. So, Cammy, if you somehow manage to pull this off, this would be the biggest win in your career and would be a huge upset because you're beating somebody who's held a lot of titles, let's just say that, in the short time she's been wrestling. At least in our little universe that we've had going on around here. And here comes probably everybody's pick to freaking win this tournament, from what I've been told since the very beginning. When it was announced that she was going to be in it. Zarina motherfucking King. A lot of people have been telling me she's the one that people are thinking is going to win this whole thing. And I would tend to agree 9 times out of 10. Zarina is one of the best women's wrestlers we have on this roster. And she's determined to get that title opportunity because she wants to be women's champion again. But I know for a fact that Zarina isn't underestimating Cammy, because she knows if she underestimates Cammy, she's going to possibly lose. And she can't afford a loss right now. That's for sure. And let's get this final match of this round underway between these two. And Zarina with a kick to midsection, another kick to Cammy there, and an armbar. And Zarina just punches her down. Remember what I said about not underestimating her? She's already on the offensive and already just all over her. And Zarina with a go behind on Cammy into a Russian leg sweep. And Zarina with another kick to midsection, just more kicks, and an enziguri to Cammy by Zarina there. And now Zarina whipping Cammy into the corner. And whoops on the other corner for reasons, I guess. Knees to the face of Cammy there by Zarina. And now Zarina with a headlock on Cammy. Just whips her back in the corner. Shot to the midsection by Zarina. And now Zarina doing this weird rope submission that her brothers like to use sometimes. And Damien sometimes. And now Zarina's back in the ring. And Cammy with a headlock on Zarina. Whoops her in the corner. Watch out, ref. And now Cammy whipping Zarina in the opposite corner for reasons. Shoulder tackle by Cammy there, Zarina. And now just grinding her knee against her face, which you can't see because the ref's standing in the middle of the camera shot. And they just ran right into each other. And now Kanye will tie up between the two. Sean's going to be happy about that. Into a headlock by Zarina. And Zarina with a backbreaker to Cammy. And a kick to the lower back of Cammy there by Zarina. And now Zarina with a headlock on Cammy, but Cammy slips out. And an elbow drop, which I think she whiffed. Now Zarina with an armbar on Cammy. And Cammy just a kick to the leg of Zarina there. And now Cammy with a headlock on Zarina, who just trips her up. And a knee drop there. And another knee drop, which I think she missed. Headlock by Zarina. Into a snap suplex. And knee drop, which she missed again. And Cammy blocking that punch from Zarina there. And a punch to the face and a go behind. Into a suplex, which freaking looked like she almost dumped her on her head there. And now Cammy with an armbar on Zarina into an arm drag. And now another headlock by Cammy on Zarina. Just flips her over there. That military training. And now Cammy just repeated elbows to the shoulders of Zarina there. And Zarina blocked the kick from Cammy. It just nails her with a kick. And now Cammy just slamming Zarina's head against the ring. Now Cammy picking up Zarina. Just whiffed that kick there. Now go behind by Cammy. Just whips her in the ropes. And Zarina with a DDT to Cammy there. And now Zarina with a Blackpool Combat Club elbows to Cammy's shoulder. Cammy blocking that punch from Zarina there and just responded with one of her own. And a go behind again. And just a slap to the back of the head of Zarina. And now Zarina with an armbar on Cammy. And Cammy with an enziguri to Zarina there. And an elbow drop to the back of Zarina by Cammy. And Zarina just punches her off. And now Zarina with the final notice flatliner to Cammy. Straight from her brother. 1, 2 and only a 2 count. And now Zarina has Cammy up for the GTS to Cammy. And now Zarina dragging Cammy from the ropes. Going for a cover, Zarina. 1, 2, and Cammy kicks out after getting hit with a GTS. And a headlock by Zarina on Cammy again. Just an elbow to the head of Cammy there by Zarina. Arm drag by Cammy in an elbow drop. And now Cammy picking up Zarina. And now Zarina tried to go for more offense there, but Cammy blocked it and tripped her up. There's a kick to the leg of Zarina by Cammy there. Cammy picking up Zarina again. German suplex by Cammy and Zarina. And another one. And a third massive German suplex to Zarina by Cammy. Suplex City, bitch. Literally. And now Cammy dragging Zarina away from the ropes. And Zarina is back up and just pissed now. And Cammy trying to go for something, but Zarina flips her over. And Cammy trips her up. Nailed her with that elbow drop, kinda. And now Cammy going for cover. 1, only a 1 count. And now Cammy has Zarina up for an Olympic slam. And now Cammy going for cover off the Olympic slam. 1, 2, and Cammy gets the win with the Olympic slam out of nowhere. Cammy nailed it with the German suplexes, and I thought Zarina was going to make a comeback, but Cammy nails it with the Olympic slam, and Cammy will be facing Samus in the semifinals of the Tournament of Glory, and that was a huge upset by Cammy there. Beat Zarina, and there goes pretty much everybody's picked to win the tournament, essentially. Most of the people in the company. Either way, if you want a match to end this part of the tournament on. And next time you see the girls, it'll be the semifinals, where Day and Ash will be taking on Misty, and Samus taking on Cammy, as we now know. And if you like this video, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Peace! And also look forward to the beginning of round 2 of the men's tournament as well. Which will start after I post this video. Either way, see you. And what the fuck is with this camera view? Seriously.